I have to say, I think it would be disingenuous to say that I would not make a comment like Andy Gray has made on air, off air, privately to friends as a bit of a joke. I wouldn't consider myself to be necessarily sexist, and I don't see anything wrong or anything bad about women's football. But when guys get together, they do kind of have a bit of banter with each other. And I think for me to say, oh, this is disgraceful, what Andy Gray has caught said, I don't know if what he's saying in private is that much of a big deal. I'd love to know, do people agree with me? Am I wrong for having admitted that? You can text us 085 121 1038. We have Peter on the phone. Hi, Peter. Peter, you play soccer with girls all the time.
Oh, yeah, I kick about with my mates, you know.
And are they any good?
They're brilliant. Some of them are amazing footballers.
And why is it then that, you know, you're talking about guys and girls playing together, the girls can run rings around the guys. Why is it that the girls don't get the same sort of publicity when it comes to international football?
I think it's just the men, you know, playing their clubs and all as well. They just get more coverage than enough. The girls just don't get a look in anymore. Never did.
Is it just that there are more men playing the sport and that's why there's more money in it?
Yeah, I think that's all it is. It's just sexism. It's been going around for years. You know what I mean? It's always been like this. Girls should get well more coverage.
But why don't they? Well, like, Peter, if I was to say to you, there's a Republic of Ireland match and they're going to be playing Brazil and it was a female team, would you go and watch it?
I would, yeah.
Would you? Why would most people say no?
Because there's not enough coverage. No one knows, you know, what the girls is like. They're just going to shrug it off. It's like the girl GAA players and camogie players don't get that much coverage either.
And so, I mean, do you think that this is something that should change, Peter? Do you think that women's football should be publicised more in the media?
Yeah, definitely, because I think the way things are going, the women's international team is better than the fellas' one.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Peter, thanks very much for coming on. 085 121 1038. Would you go and see Republic of Ireland versus Brazil in the Aviva Stadium if it was a female football team? If not, why not? 085 121 1038. We have Wendy on the spin. Hi, Wendy.
Hiya, how are you?
Not too bad. Do you play football?
I do indeed, yeah. Play soccer.
Okay, very good. And do you see this sort of sexism going on very often in Irish sport?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, numerous times this season we'll get a ref that tries to explain the offside rule, and we had one ref there, one of our last matches, and he tried to explain when it's a back pass.
Right.
So we had us lined up checking our boots, and he was like, okay, so do you know when it's a back pass? And we kind of looked at him and started laughing because we were thinking, he can't be serious. Like, we're a senior team, we play football 10, 15 years, he can't be serious, but he actually was, bless him.
So you had a male ref line up the female football team and explain the back pass rule to them?
Yeah, he had us lined up there at the edge of the box checking our boots, and then he just tried to explain the rule. He actually tried to attempt to explain the offside rule as well, but then our manager stepped in, luckily, so he didn't get that far.
I'd love to have been there to watch this. And, I mean, was he just an idiot, or
I think he meant well. I think he honestly thought that we didn't know.
Right, so he just wasn't briefed, maybe.
Even throughout the match, he was very patronised. I don't think he meant to be, but throughout the whole match, if we made a tackle or went up for a head, he was like, oh, well done, girl, well done. Good pass, or good shot, well done. Better luck next time.
But, like, an argument could be made, right? And you can let me know what you think about this. An argument could be made that because men are generally stronger physically and faster physically, that at the highest level, football is a faster paced game and therefore theoretically more exciting because it's a much quicker game. What do you make of that argument, that because men are physically stronger, physically faster, that the football is more entertaining to watch?
I think you can't doubt that. In general, men are physically stronger, in general. But there is always exceptions, naturally. But I think he just thought that because we were girls, we were going to be very fragile, wouldn't be able to go for a header, wouldn't be able to go for a tackle. I think he thought he was trying to protect us. So I think he meant well, but I think he was just kind of ignorant.
Would your male friends go and watch a women's football match?
They would often, yeah. I think because I play football, they kind of know what to expect.
And
so they know that it's going to be more than just a couple of girls having a laugh, having a kickaboo. They know that we're actually able to play football.
And what sort of size crowds would you get, Wendy?
Usually for our home games, we would get quite a few because the area that we play in, we're well known in the area, so we do get a good crowd for the matches.
Okay, Wendy, thanks very much for coming on.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problems at all, Wendy. Very interesting. 085 121 1038 for your text. And I do want to know what you make of that comment I said. I think Andy Gray and Richard Keys, what they say on air is very rarely off colour. It's very rarely controversial. But being caught off microphone, is it a bit of a storm in a teacup to say that this is sexist and they should be sacked? Or do you think that making this sort of comment that female linesman needs to be taught the offside rule, is it unacceptable? You can text us 085 121 1038. We have Lisa on the spin. Hi, Lisa. Hello, Lisa. We'll see if we can get Lisa back, because she has something very controversial to say. One texter says, I explained the offside rule to my girlfriend once back in the last World Cup. Took all of 20 seconds, and she couldn't understand why it was supposed to be so complicated. They also should be reprimanded. Whether they're on air or off the microphone, they're at work and should maintain professionalism, which they failed to do. It's not that difficult. I suppose, when the ball is in play, and that's sort of changed over the past number of years, so that might make it slightly more difficult to understand. But the offside rule isn't particularly difficult, and I think it's just one of those cliches that comes out all the time when we talk about women in football, that women can't understand the offside rule. Love to get your thoughts on this. You can text me 085 121 1038 or follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/spin 1038. We have a text in from Paul in Tala. He says the reason why women's football doesn't get as much attention is because women's matches are played at a slow pace compared to men. People want to see football played at a fast pace. Is that a fair accusation, guys? Ellen says, funniest thing is that she was right and they were wrong. I'll watch any kind of sport played by any gender. Best of luck to the Peamount ladies in Europe. Ellen's talking about a controversial decision that was made by the ref, Sian Massey. She was a lineswoman in the Liverpool and Wolves game, and she was given out to for the call she made, which was proved when it was rewound that actually she'd made the right decision. So actually she turned out to be an excellent lines person on the day, even though Andy Gray and Richard Keys from Sky Sports were slagging her off. Keep your comments coming in, 085 121 1038. We have Shane on the spin. Hi, Shane.
Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
Not too bad. Do you manage an under-10s team?
I do indeed.
Ladies or men's?
It's a bloke's team, it's a boys' team, but we have a little girl on the team as well.
Right.
And I just, it doesn't make any difference. She was player of the year last year, and she puts the boys to shame every week.
Does she?
She plays in the centre midfield for me, and she's absolutely brilliant. Now, I know what they're saying about girls playing football and men being stronger, but skill-wise, Jonathan, you want to see this girl play, she's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I have managers coming over to me after matches saying, geez, where did you get that little girl? She's absolutely brilliant. She kicks lumps out, not afraid to put her tackle in. She runs by people, skill on the ball, she's brilliant, and she has a shot from anywhere. She can hit the ball from anywhere. She's absolutely brilliant.
Should girls and boys play together until they're 15, or is there a point where the physical stature of a man versus a woman separates the two?
Yeah, it does, because I think she only has another couple of two or 3 years. I think she's allowed to play with the boys. I'm not too sure about that, but yeah, it does. The physical side of it, strength-wise, yeah, it's a bit. I'd say it'd be a bit much, but skill. I've seen girls play football, skill just as good as men. Like we were at a futsal match last night as well, and we had the little girl there as well, and just the questions she asked, and that girls can be just as good as boys. Not in strength-wise, maybe not when they get older, but skill-wise, absolutely.
Why don't we go and watch them play football then, Shane?
I don't know. As you said earlier on, they don't get enough coverage, don't they? Not? So it's all about the men playing. But I'm sure, I've watched, the Arsenal ladies team. I think they win everything. They win the league.
Yeah.
They've won Europe Cups. They win everything. And even last night when we were watching the futsal, we were in the futsal watching the futsal in Tala. And the little girl on the team, I brought the team with us, and she turned around to me. I said, "Where do you see yourself in a couple of years, Keelan? Where would you like to be playing?" And she goes, "On the Arsenal ladies team." And that's from a 9-year-old girl. That just goes to show you, there's only a difference in strength, but skill-wise, it's exactly the same.
And where did she get that from then, Shane? I mean, is it her parents? Were they big into football? Did they kind of push her along, or is it something she decided she really wanted to do to prove all the boys wrong?
No, she just wants to play football. She loves it. She just wants to play it, and she's so she's just so targeted, getting better and better and better. Like, and you can see it even last year when she was playing for me last year. Like, she's improved big time this year. Like, I actually put the team around her. I was picking a different format because it was 7-a-side last year and it was only 9-a-side this year. So I had extra players on the pitch, and I actually build the team around her so she can play better. But like, she's brilliant, and just on the physical side of it, it's just that's the only difference. But on skill wise, it's basically the same.
So we should show more of these matches on TV, regardless of the viewers, because that'll come with time, you think?
I think so. There's no difference. I've watched a couple of games last year. There was matches on women's football, and they're entertaining as well. So they should get it as well. You know, like, it's not fair. It's always men's football here, men's football there, but they should get it. They should be allowed to get their time as well. You know.
All right, Shane. Thanks very much for that.
No problem, Jonathan.
085 121 1038 for your text. Katie says, I'm curious to know if those men work and bring the money in for the woman to put food on the table, or is that seen as the woman's job now too? More and more ladies are working and more men are sitting at home watching the football, etc. That comes in from Katie. Yeah, I wonder what life will be like in 50 years' time, because there have been massive changes, and I think, the idea of the whole glass ceiling when it comes to the workplace has changed dramatically. And if you look at most of my friends, obviously won't go into details, but if we're talking about, the majority of my friends who are in relationships, the women are without question doing better than the men in their particular fields. I'm thinking of maybe 10 or 12 couples who I know, and in each case the women are doing better off than the men. I mean, is this going to go, do you think, in 20 years, 30 years time? Are men going to be seen as the weaker sex? Is it going to be jobs for girls and the like? You can text us in 085 121 1038. One texter asks a very interesting question. Would Spin consider adding Leinster women's rugby highlights to their news? Women's rugby matches are just as good as the men's. Well, we'll have a chat with our head of sport here and see what they have to say. Another says, the way to change the perception of female football is publicity and to play and make a show of a few well-known male teams. Us guys have this perception of them being awful because we've all played with or seen a girl attempt to kick a ball and fail dismally. But there are women out there who can run rings around the average male footballer. Keep them coming in, 085 121 1038. This is Paramore on Spain.